Michelle.
Hey, darling.
Oh my goodness, you are way prettier than Derek.
Thanks.
Um,
Such
hey,
low standards.
Hey everybody, it's Trey with Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. This is actually episode 51, but due to time constraints and life and a very busy partner, Derek is actually on the way up to Nashville to hang out with Rylan and spend the weekend with his family. And we hadn't yet gotten the podcast out, and I didn't want to not cover the race. So I pull in my Supercross traveling partner, my wife, the editor of the podcast, the one we always count down to at the beginning. And we're going to go through a really quick rundown of what happened in Foxborough last week. We're also going to talk about a little bit of our travels this year. You might see the dogs. We're sitting at our dining room table at the alternative studio here at the house. So first of all, you have been my traveling partner all year for our travels at different races. The only race you haven't gone to with me is the 24 Hours of Daytona, and that was because I was working. But I took you to Detroit. You froze. Then we went to Dallas, and it was a big stadium and hot outside.
Yes.
And then we went to Birmingham, Alabama, and we then went to St. Louis. Out of those four, what's your favorite?
Oh, Detroit.
Detroit. And you froze. You don't even like cold weather.
It was miserably cold. Yes.
Why did you like Detroit?
I don't know. It had the best atmosphere. Maybe because it was my first one.
Okay.
Maybe I'm like partial to it because I don't know. It's like set the bar for the rest of them.
It was a cool vibe.
It was.
The downtown area. We talked about the baseball stadium and everything. But by the way, this is Michelle Heath she is the Michelle in the Michelle and Trey real estate. So she's the boss. But we watch, whether or not we're there, we watch every round.
Yes.
It is our appointment TV. If we don't watch it live, we're one of the fortunate people that used to get Peacock for free, and then we just pay for it now. And so we watch all of them. And we play fantasy, which was it a year ago? You finished just outside the top 100 overall.
I did. This year I'm horrible.
This year you're not doing so well.
I'm not so well.
No, and by the way, it's really tough to play when you're from Florida and you're allowed to play and you travel to a state that you're not allowed to play. We missed an entire week because we didn't know those rules. But
at least we both missed it, though.
Yes, so we've learned now that we just make a team before we leave, and we know that it's probably not going to be a good team. Actually, in St. Louis, Missouri, we stayed in Illinois. So we were allowed to play in Illinois. Mm-hmm. So we made our team before we came over Saturday morning.
Yep.
We made our team Saturday morning in the hotel in Illinois, which was 12 miles away, which is kind of funny to me that there's just these geo marks.
Yeah, that just randomly decide where you can and can't.
So you like Detroit, but what has been the best trip so far that we've been on?
Oh. Where did we do our run at that like amazing trail? On
the way to Dallas, we ran in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Okay. So just trip-wise?
Yeah, trip-wise.
That one.
Okay. Yep. So we're training for a marathon, her idea. We're almost there. Marathon is at the beginning of May. And we had to do, at that point, we were at a half marathon long run.
Yep. It was our first really
long run. So we found this beautiful trail, Southern Mississippi, I think. Southern Miss.
Yeah. Just off the campus.
Right off the campus. Yep. There's a 44 rails to trails.
44 mile.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rails to trail with the old stations are kind of the stops along the way. And it went through the town, and it obviously went to other towns.
And out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful run. So that Dallas trip was a nice trip.
It's the only one we've really had an adventure that wasn't race related, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. St. Louis was cool just because we crossed over the Cumberland River, the Tennessee River, Ohio River, and then the Mississippi River.
Yep.
And
they had a cool downtown too.
Yeah. And I thought the Birmingham downtown, the revitalization that they're doing.
Yes. Yes.
Stadium's a little small, and had it not rained, that would have been rain, misty wind. That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But it got really cold.
Yeah. It did.
I mean, we were not prepared because it wasn't supposed to.
No, and it was actually hot.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah. So how do you like indoor pits versus outdoor pits?
So before this experience, I would have said outdoor because having only ever gone to Tampa,
Yeah.
everything was outdoor. Like the fan experience, the whole thing was outdoor. So the thought of being indoors was like didn't seem right. But after experiencing it's so much better because it's so predictable. Like I have to imagine for the teams, whether you're privateer or a big team, although like logistically speaking, getting it all in there would be super tough. It's so predictable. Like you don't have to worry about weather or where your location might be. I mean, you're just in there.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change.
And Detroit was partial. The factories were outside in their semis under tents with massive heaters, and the privateers had little cubicles inside. Dallas obviously outside. Birmingham was literally in their conference conference center, and the semis were inside and everything, and that was cool. And then St. Louis the same way. You walk in, and honestly, you have to go to the dome in St. Louis. You didn't have to go outside. Everything was connected, and that was pretty cool. So it's been fun learning. We're learning this together.
Yeah.
It's something that we've wanted to learn more about, and it definitely has been. But the point of this one is I needed a partner. I cannot carry a podcast like Jason Thomas can in his writer seating or industry seating podcast, and I don't have the chops that he has, nor do I have the biceps. But
that's a good point. Sorry.
So I always kind of do it with a partner, and since I didn't have a partner this week, we're going to talk about Foxborough.
I probably won't bring as much to the table as some of your other partners, but
you watch.
I can nod and agree or disagree.
You watch, and you have writers that you pay close attention to.
I do.
Biggest thing was it was a sloppy mess, and this Dirt Works crew, well, as Ricky calls them, the SMX track crew.
Is there a reason?
I don't know.
They're not Dirt Works
They're
anymore?
still Dirt Works.
Well, they are still Dirt Works.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if he's ticked at Dirt Works or if it's a thing.
He's not like they're not allowed to say it. Does anybody else say it? Like any of the other people?
No one else ever brings him up, but
That's true.
He does talk about how good of a job. And my God, they took a track that had been slopped on, and that track was very raceable. I mean, it rutted up, but
I mean, you wouldn't know how bad it had been if you didn't know how bad it had been.
The same thing kind of what happened in Alabama. Like, that track was nasty looking, and then it dried out. Like at one point, they were watering it. So we always kind of start with 250s. First heat, they had Chance Hymas gets his inaugural win as a 250 rider. Honda, the next thing, the pressure he must be under with, you have Jett Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Joe Shimoda. Oh, and by the way, on the East Coast, hey, we're going to put you on the 250. So Cameron McIndoe, we've not gotten to know him, but we've seen him in stadiums in qualifying and different stuff. And listening to him talk, he's a different person. Sounds like a different person than what we've seen in the past. Hayden Deegan, fifth. We have our opinions on Hayden Deegan. My buddy Jason really has his opinions on Hayden Deegan.
I haven't heard them, but I could guess.
Oh, yeah. But what's your thought on Hayden Deegan?
He's a kid. I don't know. Like,
he's a professional.
Yes, and he's been professionally taught by his dad,
who's a business wizard.
Yes. I mean, they're playing a role. Essentially, Supercross survives because of entertainment. We like it because of the competition and the racing. Mm-hmm. But if it's not entertaining, people aren't going to pay to watch it. So the Deegans have made most of what they've made through social media and through being who they are or pretend to be. I mean, I don't know. Is that really who they are? I don't
know, bro.
I feel like he's so over the top. It can't be real.
It's like a character.
Yes. Yes. Like, does he step away and he's a different person or not? Because I mean, his dad seems to actually be that person.
His dad is like, dude, like, you know. Like,
but he grew up in that time too. Like,
yeah.
Like,
But he's a good business person.
Yes.
But you also feel the way I do about him. He's a damn good rider.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got skill.
He's got the natural born talent. He has worked hard to make that skill, that talent even better. And he's had the backing to be where he is. I mean, yeah, he's damn good. But
yeah.
He's a lot. He's a lot.
He's
a lot.
What do they say? He's extra.
But don't you think he's bringing in that group? Don't you think there's a different group with him than there is? I'm not going to say, I don't mean to compare him and Dale Earnhardt. Not on the same level at all. That's not what I'm saying. But there was a certain group of people
that he couldn't do any wrong.
Right.
If he spun you out, it was because you got in the way.
Yeah. Don't you feel like Deegan's going to have his group that are going to follow him because of some of the things that we might look at as like, little sketch dude. And they're going to be like, that's why I love him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
But that's what we need. Or the entertainment needs.
Yes. But he finished 5th in a, kind of what you would deem a subpar performance. Pierce Brown, 4th. The dude has been the most, he crashes. We always say Brown in the brown. But he's had this kind of just this quiet, he crashes, but he still is having this quiet year. Congratulations to Hymas. Cameron, I felt, was coming, but Hymas put it together and gets his first win. And that is think about that, just that feeling of, okay, I know what it's like. Because these kids all win when they're kids.
Right.
And then they come here and they may not win. And the excitement that he has, both feet off, one hand off, like I was surprised he didn't just like go with the bike over the finish line. But congratulations, led from start to finish. And we went to the next group of youngsters, except Max Nancy.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, no.
So Max Nancy also leads from start to finish. He could be the happiest man. You see him at the races. We've gotten to see him a couple times this year, listening to his interviews, his qualifying interviews. Unless you watch race day live, a lot of the stuff that you get to see at the track before the night show, you don't really you're not privy to it. So being the fact that we've been there a couple times this year, and he's just, minus the one interview in Alabama, he's been a happy guy. He's just a happy guy. And
thankful.
Shucks darn it, I'm so glad to be here. But really, what about Cody Schock and that mustache? What did you call it?
I can't. I just can't.
Congratulations to Cody Schock on signing a pretty long contract for our industry.
Yeah.
He's done enough that Muck Off, FXR, Club MX, they've decided to sign him long term. And in this industry, a 3-year contract is a long contract, especially for they always get in trouble for this, a satellite team.
Yeah.
But
it's a long commitment on both sides. That's a long commitment.
But their satellite program, we've had the opportunity to walk around. It's a pretty solid.
Yeah,
it's pretty solid program for a satellite program.
They don't appear to be lacking. In support.
No. Tom Bial, he's a demure guy in real life. Yeah. Daxton Bennett, Casey Cochran, welcome to the big leagues. I mean, we watched him 2 weeks ago in St. Louis, crash his brains out, and all of a sudden he's 5th in the heat in his intro. Welcome back to Jalik Swole. Really, the disappointment, we always touch on the HBI guys. Hardy Munoz is a better rider than what we get from Hardy Munoz, I feel, a lot of times. We've seen him up close. We've talked to his team owner. We've watched him. Cole Bradford, HBI guy. Aiden Shive, I feel like, is slowly progressing. He's just putting pieces together. You want to take a shot at this name because I mess it up every week?
Nope, not even.
Preston Bosflug or Bestflug or something.
Are those right? Either one of those
close,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty close. But another wire-to-wire winner, 8 laps. It is what it is. Another close race. Cody Schock finishes second. That's actually a good finish for him. Tom Vial. There weren't really any surprises in it. The East Coast side is really kind of shaping up to be. There's a group, and then there's another group. But those battles that we've watched on the East side, by the way, we saw Cody Schock at St. Louis just walking around, hanging out, and I was like, God, that guy looks familiar. And I see him do an interview, and I'm like, the mustache. That's who that was. He was just hanging out with FXR while they were in St. Louis. But you see these guys, and those battles that we've watched, the Garrett Hoffmans, the Marshall Weltons, the Gage Linvilles, they could be 6th, they could be 18th. And for those guys, it's just a matter of the mistakes. And when we're watching qualifying, that's your favorite part. Yes. Michelle goes into the stadium from the first free practice and does not leave until qualifying is over. And she will watch every round, and she'll tell you, I mean, watch this guy. They started putting this section together, and blah, 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 blah. So her analysis is pretty deep. So if you ever see a young lady in the stands, not attached to anybody, it's just Michelle, because
hanging out by myself.
Hangs out and finds her spot and watches qualifying. Last chance qualifier. I don't really see anything. Again, Hardy Munoz. I think there was a crash at the beginning of the last chance, and he was at the very back, and it didn't go well. But you have Bryce Shelley, Vinny Lahovey, Luca Marcellisi, Thomas Welch, all get through. Garrett Hoffman, Ryder Floyd, Jack Rogers, and Crockett Myers were the guys looking out. Again, Aiden Shive was 10th. 15 seconds back, it seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot.
Seems like a lot. But when you're a kid making the night show, you're that top 40.
Yeah.
That's step one.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's still a lot.
It's still a lot.
It's still a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, they're still really good.
Yeah.
But that's still a lot to make up.
Yep. I mean, you figure he's 10 seconds out of a qualifying position at that point. And there's a lot. Where do you get 10 seconds from? You know, how do you go about doing that? But Vinny Lahovey led the first 3 laps. Bryce Shelley led the last 3. That's actually pretty cool this is where these guys shine. He's sponsored by the Dirt Bike Depot, Bergen's Buick GMC. I mean, this is straight up privateer life. So that's good. But that's really all that was happening for the LCQ. It was they may have been the most passe LCQs that we've witnessed this year.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of attacking going on. And then the main, we talked about him early. He got the whole shot. He got the lead, and it was over. It was kind of like, it happened. Cameron McAdoo, that was the battle. The Cameron McAdoo, Tom Vial battle was the one that I think was the most important, and the two of them minimizing how many points Hayden could gain.
Yeah.
Because really, Hayden should not be in the points championship. Hayden gained, he was 19 down, so now he's 13 down. He gained 6 points or 3 points on Cameron. So really, it is conceivable that he could this weekend Triple Crown. No, East-West.
East-West.
Shootout is the actual appropriate name.
Why is it not Showdown?
It's Showdown now.
Oh, it's Showdown.
It's Showdown. It used to be Shootout.
And it can't be Shootout.
It can't be Shootout because we don't want people shooting each other. So it can't be
literal.
Shootout. Yes.
Nope.
Yes. Literally. But we have not gotten to see. We have seen a Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm.
Triple Crown live.
Way better.
Because, but it's only better because you can actually see the last chance qualifiers and how important qualifying is.
Yes.
But it's not better on TV.
Not to me, no.
And
I am not a fan on television.
Derek and his family are going to get to see an East-West showdown, which I think would be cool to witness, but we haven't had the opportunity to see that yet. We have gotten to see one West Coast round and then 3 East Coast rounds this year in person with one Triple Crown. what was your take on the Triple Crown? Because you were there, you were in the arena, and you didn't leave at all, and so you got to see the Triple Crown like as it was. How did you feel about it, like sitting there?
I felt it was much more entertaining. So I don't like the Triple Crown because to me, on television, there's a lot of just time, just useless time that, of course, they have to fill in with stuff, which while they do a good job filling in, but when I was there watching it, there was actually stuff going on the track when the big bikes weren't on the track. So it was much more entertaining. As far as the racing, I could honestly watch all of the practice and qualifying. Like if I was given the choice, you can either go watch all the main events, the racing, Triple Crown, or anything else, or practice. I would go see practice and qualifying every time. It's just so much more interesting.
Yeah,
because you get to see so many different things and people you otherwise wouldn't get to see, and you can kind of compare how these guys are doing versus these guys. Whereas in the night show, you're only seeing, well, obviously, the people that made it there.
Yeah, and I think the most fun I've had with the qualifying and practice part is watching the riders. I don't care what level. I don't care if it's the A group or the C group, or watching them try to find a line, like put it together. Poor Jerry Robin. I don't know how that guy's alive. That man cases more jumps and shakes it off and then just keeps going.
Does that mean he's trying really hard, or he just really needs to get better?
No, he's trying. I think he's trying really hard. Like, I think I can do this. And whether it's capability or the bike or mistiming but he has cased some massive stuff. And he literally will shake it off and like keep on going. You've been there because I was running back and forth filming. You've been in there and you see the guys that go down hard, and you see that's where these guys, like where it says like so-and-so hurt themselves, you're the one that texts out to us, say, hey, so-and-so went down, it's red flag right now or whatever. And so you're saying the qualifying, if you have the opportunity as a fan, go. Well, I don't know if they get the monster. I don't know how that works now, but
I think it's. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I think it's FanFest though.
Oh, is it FanFest? Because we're been fortunate enough to have a rider that we've been working with, Rylan Munson, and we purchased the industry seating, so we just kind of go in. But through FanFest, those people can go in and also watch.
Yeah, I think because there's a ton of people in there for practice and stuff. And we used to do FanFest in Tampa.
Yeah.
And we could go in the stadium because we would go in and watch qualifying and practice and all that. Yeah. So I think it's part of something you can get at FanFest. Because like I said, there's a ton of people in there. And it's just open seating until
they open the doors.
Until they open the doors, like an hour and a half before.
But do it. So you would sell.
Absolutely.
If you're a family, and also, I mean, she likes motorsport, but if you're taking your spouse with you, it's a chance for them to kind of watch in a non-pressure situation, because the people in there are really paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's a chance to like see like, how do these guys find another line? Well, look around. There's guys video. When we were in Birmingham, the video spot was right behind where we were sitting. John Tomac took his video crew, and they did not sit there because it was actually not a really good spot.
No, it wasn't.
And come to find out, they went to the other side of the stadium up top, because that's how these factory guys do it. They're videoing their rider. They're also videoing the other riders. And the privateers, their mechanic is videoing the best he can. Like, that's the fun part, is you walk around the pits and you see these guys like watching videos and talking with other riders and running through the bike. But that's the part that we really have enjoyed.
Yes.
I think we really enjoy that part of it. But congratulations to Hayden Deegan. He led all 18 laps. He gains points in the championship battle. He talked about the hole he's in, and this is a big weekend with the East-West. The whole point of that East-West talk was this is a chance for the West to interfere with what's going on in the East. It's a 4-point battle between Cameron and Tom Bial.
Why do they do East-West?
They've always done it. Many years ago, I remember one of the first rounds was in Houston, and it was an East-West, it was an East-West showdown. I don't know why they do it. It's maybe to give both coasts the opportunity for bragging rights. I think they're cool. I'm
not opposed.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there was like a specific reason that they bring them together, just for fun, just because gives those people a chance to interact,
test their wares.
Yeah.
Now I will tell you, it's those days I'm guessing are kind of tough. Like I'm guessing the West Coast, you will not see a lot of West Coast privateers making the trip to Nashville, because if you don't qualify top 22 or top 20, you're not even going to that heat race.
Gotcha.
So why would you travel?
Yeah.
If you're one of these guys that qualifies 35th to make it into the night show, you're probably not loading up the van and going across. So it's going to be interesting to see how many West Coast guys. I feel like the East Coast side will be fuller than the West Coast side, because guys like Logan Leitzel, who finished 20th, is he going to take the chance to try to go get in that top 20 to qualify, because that's important. Pierce Brown, we were joking, he's fourth, quietly in fourth. We've been to 3 races where he's in, and he just has quietly, I don't know if we've seen him. I don't even know if we would recognize him if we saw him, but he just kind of quietly has done his thing. Max Nancy with he's had a rough couple of weeks, and he put in finally a solid performance. Cody Schock and his mustache, which, by the way, I know that the mustache thing is coming back. Some of these guys need to.
Yeah. But his is quality. I mean, I'm still not a fan, but it's a quality mustache. I mean, it's there.
Magnum PI?
Oh. Maybe. No.
Not that far?
Not that far. That's almost too much, though.
Yeah. But, by the way, do you know who Magnum PI is? Blue Bloods?
Yeah. Okay. The dad.
Yeah. He's really progressed in life.
Yeah.
Really, nothing. Chance Hymas, after his heat win, he finishes 12th. But, let's step by step. He started 16th, so yeah, he gained.
That's still respectable.
Yeah, he gained 4 spots, but I'm guessing Honda also expects him to finish ahead of Nicholas Romano, Henry Miller, Marshall Welton, up there. Up there, but they got their stuff. The bottom guys are the ones you and I really try to pay attention to, because we've been pitting with them and we see them and the programs they run. And by the way, my wife is a huge dog lover. You guys that carry your dogs to the races and into the pits, they're the coolest dogs.
Oh yeah,
they're the coolest dogs. And
I could be like dog mom. Like if you need babysitting, dog sitting,
that's the service.
I can during the race. Now I want to go see qualifying, but then when you actually go out to race and stuff, I can be your dog sitter.
Anything catch your eye as far as the results, points, anything like that?
No. I'm not as analytical on it. I watch it more for. I just like watching it. Like I just like watching the racing.
Well, let's dive into the 450s. My favorite rider. I don't know what I'm going to do when he actually hangs it up. Eli Tomac. He did Eli Tomac things. He went out. He did. I think he got somewhat fortunate. There was some carnage at the beginning, I think, and he just got a great start. And he just not carnage, maybe argy bargy. Bumping.
Is that a word?
It is in Formula One. They talk
really?
About it. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little argy bargy.
Okay.
I think you could also listen to, what's his name? The Australian guy that does the announcing, Lee. The announcer for Supercross.
Lee Diffie?
Lee Diffie.
No. Yes.
Lee Diffie.
Yes.
Yes, he has used the word argy bargy before.
Okay.
In car racing.
Okay.
But Tomac goes out and dominates the heat. 10-second lead over Hunter Lawrence.
I didn't realize it was that big of a margin.
I didn't realize that either.
Until I saw this today. I was like, I don't remember it being that much.
I don't either.
I mean, obviously it was, but I don't remember that.
Ken Roxon with third. That guy, he's like reborn. I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he's done. Justin Barsha, fourth. Justin Hill. They actually, and I'm so happy that they gave Justin Hill some like props during.
Yes.
I remember at one point last year they were running pretty high up and they didn't even mention him, and I was like, he's a former like race winner and champion, and so it was good. Mr. Shane McElrath, the bald hero, finishes sixth. I'm going deep because Adam Cianciarillo, who he announced his retirement, he's hanging on. He's one of the most well-spoken. We actually had the opportunity to listen to him speak at the St. Louis. He spoke to all the Futures riders. He is one of the most well-spoken racers.
And truly just a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's other nice guys as well, but he's
just a nice guy.
Easy going, or it seems that way.
Yeah, and we listened to him. We didn't hear the conversation, but listened to him counsel with Justin Brayton at St. Louis, and it was like these two icons just talking, and Justin Brayton, being the elder statesman, kind of had the floor, and they're it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of cool to be in that spot, and then you get to see these guys without their helmets on, and not on the podium thinking, whichever
going through
15
their spiel.
sponsor. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, when Adam spoke, we know he rides for Kawasaki, Monster. I don't know his personal sponsors. When he went up to speak, he was wearing plain clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, real, like straight up real. Kyle Chisholm, Florida Zone. I don't know how old he is. I don't know how he's still riding. He posted a picture of, I guess during the main, he got obliterated, or maybe it was during the heat. I'm not sure. Jerry Robin, our aforementioned Jerry Robin, that the guy qualified straight in. Like that's huge. Congratulations. And then Ty Masterpool finished 10th. What did you think of their outfits this week?
Oh, I liked it.
They catch flack. They have caught flack for some of their outfits.
Why?
Because like during when they had the tuxes on.
Yeah.
No one really understood like what the tuxes were for. It was HBI Zone sponsorship, like dressed up. And
so maybe they need to kind of promote the background of it more.
Like this week it was the tractor company, and I thought it looked cool. I thought the pants, like the fact that the denim kind of had the rips and stuff in it, and it's also a small team looking outside the box.
Yeah, and
it's our own small team, so we're kind of a little bit like, not defensive is the right word, protective of them,
supportive.
But I thought Ty might make it out, but he could never close the gap. But yeah, just Tomac with a 10-second lead, a 10-second win in the heat race. You're like, okay, it's going to be a good, because whole shot and just move on. And I mean, he had a 6-second gap 4 laps in, almost 7-second gap. So, but that was it. They also did 8 laps. So really the track wasn't really any different. I think the 250s may have done a faster lap than the 450s, which is weird to me that happens.
Now I have to look.
Yeah.
Wow.
McAdoo did a 51. Tomac did a 52.6.
So tell me why that is, real quickly, because I'm sure the world knows.
I actually don't understand it. I need somebody to be able to tell me that, because maybe the 450s have so much inertia and momentum that the 250s can cut different, and they can different lines, momentum, the way the momentum, because the 450 wants to continue to go straight, that maybe there's more brake pressure where the 250 can have momentum hovering through. It's like a Miata versus a Porsche.
Yeah.
Where the Miata is like a go-kart, and the Porsche you have to actually drive. I mean, drive to get the same speed, because the Miata is going to go through the corner faster because it didn't brake as hard to go through the corner.
Right.
So Tomac with a win. That was awesome. We get to the second heat. Cooper Webb came out like a rocket ship, and I was like, okay, he's gonna win. And Jett was not in first. Jett was Jett in first, or was in second, or was he further back? I think he was further back.
He was further back.
He was further back because I I don't know what happened. He was further back, but Cooper and then Chase Sexton, Jason Anderson, Malcolm Stewart with a good. But look at Cade Clayson. Like he started the year really rough. He had that nasty brown gear on that we made fun of. But we talk about Cooper Webb, and it was a 1 second gap. It was less than a second, 1 second, less than a second, just at a second. Then all of a sudden, half second, and then Jett did what Jett does, finds a spot and goes through. And he's a kid. I don't dislike him.
No.
I'm scared that he could get so good that he's not Jett anymore. But McGrath was McGrath, and Carmichael was Carmichael, and we were talking about this with Jason. I'll get your perspective. When MC, McGrath was doing his thing, there were times that there was really nobody. It was McGrath.
Right.
And he had Emig, but he put in. When there was Carmichael, there were times that Carmichael didn't really have anybody. James Stewart, his perfect season, he had like Andrew Short and some like guys to beat.
Right.
Then all of a sudden we get Dungy and we get Villapoto, and then these guys are starting to stay around, and we got spoiled. We are spoiled right now. All of our heroes are still here. Well, Tomac's going to leave us at some point. Jason Anderson's going to leave us at some point. Cooper Webb, if Cooper Webb wins this year, he's now tied. If he wins, could he just say, "Thanks, guys. I never thought I was going to get 3 Supercross titles. I'm out of here." I'm done. Justin Barsha is selling his property with the anticipation that I'm sure at some point he's going to retire. Ken Roxon, how long are we going to be able to keep? Then all of a sudden we have this gap. I know that Hayden Deegan, I said, I'm going to get on a 450 and I'm going to beat Jett Lawrence. Well, we've seen Jett Lawrence have his own troubles trying to beat these guys. I don't see a replacement for those 5-6 guys in the 250 class that are going to hang with Jett Lawrence. I mean, we're going to have Chase Sexton for a while, but really, who else is there that can beat Jett Lawrence? And we're all going to be mad because it's Jett Lawrence. But we weren't mad when it was McGrath. We weren't mad when it was Carmichael. We weren't mad.
But does he have that many anti-Lawrence?
No, but we like the racing.
Yeah.
But what's your opinion? Do you think that he's going to be that guy?
I mean, it seems that way.
Even with the fact that he gave up the lead this weekend?
It seems that way.
Okay. All right.
But don't you think, and I haven't been presented this question before, and like I said, I'm not the analytical one, so give me a moment here. But don't you think as those guys that you mentioned start going away, you're talking these guys are going to have that year or two to get there? I mean, I don't know.
But does Chance Hymas have anything for Jett Lawrence? Does Cameron McAdoo's good, but does Cameron McAdoo have anything for Jett? Remember, last year he raced against these guys, and he beat them.
Yeah, and he beat them well.
So you know that's the I think we're about to enter another one of those phases.
I can't argue that.
But we can't get mad because that's the norm. What we have been blessed with for 6, 7, 8 years is something that rarely happens. I mean,
well, because we've said a lot of times, if so-and-so wasn't competing at the same time as so-and-so, don't you think they would have been the best?
Well, Kevin Windham would have loved.
Well, I mean, it all depends. And I'm not giving less credit to Jett or more credit to anybody else, but I mean, that's all part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not his fault if he doesn't have people that can do what he can do.
No, and it may change the whole economics model. One of the things I threw out to one of my buddies the other day is if there's Jett and these teams, they spend millions of dollars to be competitive. But if they look 2 years down the road and they're like, well, this Jett guy, we can't. maybe we don't. Maybe we get two. This is terrible. B riders, the guys who are finished second through 10th, and we just we just need to have a presence.
But don't you think there? Okay, so let's say Jett's all alone and he's just killing it. There can still be really good racing.
Yes.
Second through 10th or
Yes.
whatever. Don't you think some of these guys that are going to be coming up will at least give us good racing? Like, stop showing us the number one guy 10 seconds ahead. Just, we know he's out there. Just show us the other three great battles. And I don't, because I just watch it for those battles.
Okay. You are a fan. As a fan, yes. Do you think KTM cares if they finish second?
Yes.
You think so?
I don't know. Yes. Okay, so
they're
winning always matters.
Their winning ad says, "We're the second best."
To me, winning always matters. Let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the point of competing is to win. Just on that, the point of competing is to win. You always want to win. But the point of these people that are putting money into this is to make money, right?
Market their product.
Their product, right? Bring more money in to whatever it is they're trying to bring money into. Maybe you just go after the. I mean, Aaron Plessinger isn't winning.
He did.
I know, right?
He did win.
But he's not the guy. Like, no. He's not that guy. But oh my God, I don't care what race we've been at. Like, the entire stadium is cheering when he's out there.
Yeah.
So do you really think, like, don't you think somebody's going to be just as happy to have him in that second to 10th?
I think business-wise, I don't think you're wrong. I think championship-wise, those titles mean something.
Absolutely. I agree.
Those titles mean something, and I think it could be a while, and then there might be some, if we can't beat them, let's buy them. You know what I mean? Like, if Honda's got them, but Yamaha wants them, what's that check going to look like?
Yeah.
And then you have that cycle. Ricky Carmichael went from Kawasaki to Honda to Suzuki, and they, it's never about the money, but it was, we'd like to hire you. So let's see what happens. But I just wanted your opinion as a fan, because I think we're both fans. We're also trying to learn the business side of it. And I think that's a big component. If he actually comes out and he starts winning, yes, Cooper Webb is battling him tooth and nail right now. Eli's giving him Chase's won, but still the championship battle is coming down to Jett Lawrence. If he pulls this off, after he already pulled off a perfect season in motocross in 450, and we go outdoors, and these teams are like, oh my God, what can we do? We have Chase Sexton. We have the last year's Supercross winner, and we're not doing it. We have Eli Tomac came back, and we have Cooper Webb, one of the nastiest, I don't mean that rudely, nastiest competitors. You give a burr under his saddle, he's going to fight. And no one has anything for him. Do we all of a sudden start looking on the business model and going, well, maybe we need to promote our products a little differently because right now we can't compete? Or do we go buy that product?
Yeah.
So we have started learning about the privateers. There was a big thing this week. Justin Starling, he didn't even have the intention of qualifying for the main. Now that there's gambling, people are upset of, well, you're manipulating. Guess what? There are guys that are there that have no intention of making the main. Their goal is to make the night show.
Oh, of course.
And no one says anything to them about that.
Well, of course. I mean, these guys know that they're not making the main. I mean, yes, of course, everyone wants to. But I'd say half the guys that show up are could or could not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Justin Starling, the problem people are having with Justin Starling is he came out on X. I still don't understand why we had to go away from Twitter. But he came out on X and said, hey guys, don't bet on me. Don't pick me in fantasy. Don't bet on me because I've got a baby on the way. And my goal is to get enough points to guarantee myself a place in Steve Mathis's privateer race. Because I can make good money there. Okay. At that point, I took him off my fantasy. He's not even an option. People are mad because he manipulated his. How do we know he manipulated? If people had fallen in front of him and he's in fourth place, I don't imagine that he's pulling off. I don't know. Maybe he is. But how he's running,
I would be so disappointed if so.
But how he's running his program is kind of the only thing I guess now we want him to be. We beg for these people to be honest. We beg.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing they're really mad about is that he said it.
Yeah, we beg for them to be honest. We want their personalities. We want honesty. He's honest. Hey guys, I am here this weekend. I helped another rider get here this weekend. As soon as night show start, I'm on the road. I got 1,000 miles. I want to get home. I want to see my kid. I mean, for God's sakes, Scotty Scheffler, which I guarantee there was more gambling at the Masters, point blank said, if my wife goes into labor before the final round starts, I'm leaving and going because it's my first child. And he won the damn Masters. No one said anything about that.
And I don't know how I feel about that.
That would have been a massive manipulation of results because how many people gambled on Scotty Scheffler winning the Masters? But this is a guy who's funding his program himself, has a goal of making a good chunk of change at a race that is designed for people who didn't make it into the main. The whole point of the race is whoever doesn't make it into the main but scores the most points gets into my race. Well, okay. But he finished 13th in the heat race, knowing, hey, I got to get up high in the LCQ. But Cooper Webb led 6 of the 8 laps. Jett gets around him. Jett kind of pulls away a little bit. Of course, we don't know what Cooper's doing, at that point. He's just probably like checking lines.
Yeah, let's just make it through.
Yeah. And then we dive into the LCQ. Benny Bloss, who didn't even finish the heat race, comes out and pretty much wallops everybody in the LCQ. There was quite the battle between Anthony Rodriguez and Ty Masterpool and one other guy. I can't remember who it was, but he ended up falling, I think, or crashing or slipping out or something. But Ty Masterpool with the cool farmer's gear on makes it into the main for HBI Racing. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Justin Cooper had to go to the LCQ. I mean, it was a pretty loaded LCQ. When you have 2 factory guys in the LCQ, that's a big LCQ. There's guys that we have seen through our travels that are literally, they want to get as high as they can, as much as they can. They get money, they get contingency. You have to understand, some of these motorcycle companies, if you make it into the night show, you also get a contingency.
Right.
It's not just the main, it's getting into the night show. So if they get paid from the AMA or Feld, whoever pays them, and they get paid from their gear company, and they get paid from the motorcycle company, we don't know what their contracts look like. We're trying to learn that, but it's difficult as can be. But we don't know. Justin Starling got 6th. Guess what? He did exactly what he needed to do. He's guaranteed to get into the Steve Mathis Privateer Challenge. And he packed up his stuff and went home.
Well, here's the thing, too. People like Starling are paying their own way. Like, he has to do whatever he needs to do so that he can afford to continue racing. Or if guys like that don't, all of a sudden, what kind of competition do we have? Yeah, like you said, we've got those top people that are being paid to do this. But how much fun is it going to be to watch, 12 people?
Well, we've noticed that in the World Supercross. They only have 20 riders.
Yeah.
And there's no heat race. Well, they're racing for gate position. They send them out for qualifying for gate position. It's like, dude, this is the only sport, well, except the U.S. Open in golf, where if you have a pro license, you can try to qualify for this. You can show up in your van, your truck, your U-Haul, your car with your bike torn apart in the trunk, and give it a go.
And as much as we cuss the lappers, what would that track look like if there weren't people that were down there, towards the bottom, becoming lappers, and you'd have the one guy run away with it. Second, I mean, aside from somebody falling, which is never the way I want someone to gain a position. I want them to fight for a position, even if that means having to pick a different line or watch out for the lapper, or it just, we need those guys.
Yeah, and a guy like Justin Starling, the only argument that you'll see from me is you're trying to make money. You didn't want to make the main because you wanted to guarantee your spot. And he had been injured, had bike problems early on, probably realized, okay, my season's shot. Let me see the best way I can recoup some money. Okay, well, if I don't make the mains, I'm only going to make $300 more per main I make. But if I don't make mains and I get into this race with Steve, I have a chance to make $7,000, $8,000, $16,000, $20,000. And I definitely am going to recoup that money. And I'm kind of with you. Dude, these guys are doing everything they can to. Justin does stuff with Honda. He does stuff with other privateers. He's got a really cool setup. I don't care what he does. I don't care what his program looks like. The only thing, maybe, don't be so honest with us, which is sad because we want you to be honest with us.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know, but congratulations to Benny on winning the LCQ. We've gotten to see that beta up close. I think it's a good looking bike. You and I.
Yeah.
It's vibrant. It's very, very vibrant. They've got a nice setup there. They really have a nice setup if you get to go through the pits. Yep. They've got the bike kind of cordoned off in its own little spot, and you can kind of go look at it, and they're doing a good job. So it's main event time. 450 main event. Cooper Webb. I mean, all of a sudden he gets a hole shot and leads from start to finish. The crafty veteran. I mean, I did not see that coming.
No, not at all.
I did not see that coming. I really expected Tomac to kind of keep, because in St. Louis, it was 3 great starts. Qualifying was amazing. Everything. He comes out here, busts the whole shot. He's on, and then all of a sudden you watch, and he just gets closed off and closed off and closed off. He and Jett got closed off and more, and it was like, oh boy. And with the modern Eli, we don't see him coming through. But there was a battle. There was Cooper Webb and Chase Sexton. They went, you ever heard this? Hammer and tong?
No.
Okay. They went hammer and tong with one another and battled. How did you enjoy the main event?
I very much enjoyed it. So I used to be like the anti-Cooper Webb fan. Like, I couldn't tolerate him, didn't want to hear him talk. He just couldn't stand him. And I don't know, over like the past, last season, I was like, okay, I kind of like this guy because he's not dirty, like on purpose. You know, he's not going to just take you out, which I absolutely hate the people that do. But he just grinds. He just keeps going, and don't make him mad because then he's just going to go even harder. And I've really come to like that. And I know that Chase Sexton is a super nice guy. Like, I've not heard anyone say anything bad about him. I just can't stand him. Like, as a racer, like, I'm sure, like, we could go have pizza and, like, hang out, and it would be
probably
cool.
Lost that opportunity.
Because now I just said, and I don't know what it is. I can't even call out, like, what it is I don't like about him as a racer. I just don't. But it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's fun to have that passionate, really like this guy and really can't stand this guy, because it makes it even more fun.
Well, he started 4th and gets to 2nd. Ken Roxon started 2nd and ended up on the podium. Again, where's this Ken Roxon guy coming from? Like,
I'm with you.
How excited are you to always hear Kickstart Kenny?
I kind of feel sorry for him now.
Can we let it go? Like, it's Kickstart Kenny!
Yeah, but he's still owning it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's kind of like, if it's gotten people to pay more attention to him again, then why not? Because I'm kind of like you. Like, for a while, he was like, nobody talked about him, right? Like, I mean, he was really good and then not.
He had his problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody started talking about Kickstart Kenny, and now I feel like he's kind of got a little Kickstart following. So, I mean, if it's working for him, but, you know, I hope he likes it because it's a thing now.
Jason Anderson finishes 4th. Jett, you know, earlier this year, Jason taught Jett the adult way to grab a helmet. And they've had their moments, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to?
Yeah.
And it was, Jett had him, but Jason ended up getting 4th. Jett finishes 5th, loses, but he started 12th. It's one of the races where we finally got to see him go through a pack and work his way through, because that's been the thing, is can we see him when he screws up? Can we see what he can do?
Right.
And he did. He came back to 5th, gets rid of the points lead. Eli Tomac gets to 6th after only starting 8th. Justin Cooper, Justin Hill, great finish for Justin Hill. I don't know what, from the Pacific Northwest to New England is a long way. I don't know what made all of a sudden that night, like, oh, I'm going to qualify outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm going to do well all night. I don't know what happened there. Malcolm Stewart with 10th. By the way, if you have the money and you want to train with Big James, apparently they are open up the mecca of Supercross and motocross for a little Loretta Lynn's training. It's only going to cost you $6,000 for the training, but it's a chance that not many people get to go ride at the Stewart compound. We live 15 minutes from it, and we have seen those jumps are massive. We've never been on the property, and I hear that they're very good at shooting down drones. So,
ooh.
Yeah. But Benny Bloss and Colt Nichols, the beta crew, I really am sure Colt Nichols is getting frustrated with the fact that Benny and he find each other every single race. It's only been a couple where Colt has separated himself. Kyle Chisholm had his own little injury, plowed through to get 17th. I don't know what happened to McElrath to get 19th or 21st, I'm sorry, because a few weeks ago he had finished 5th, I think. He finished pretty high. Points-wise, Jett lost the lead. I cannot believe, with as big a lead that Jett had, some of it his doing, whatever your opinion on the cross flag, the Barsha incident, what did him in, it wasn't the cross flag. What did him in that day was the punting by Barsha.
Yeah.
He still would have had a decent points night had he not been punted by Barsha and finishing 19th.
Yeah, but I'll leave that alone. Hi, buddy.
You are not there. There are many in your camp who feel that the flag needs to be adjusted. That needs to be changed.
Oh, I was going to talk about Barsha.
Oh, okay.
Now, I agree with the flag. I'll just leave them both alone. It's okay.
All right. So now we have a battle. We have a battle of the young lion,
buddy,
coming to claim what he feels is his, and we have the old guy, Cooper Webb, who's like, oh, you're going to let me in this championship? I know how to win these. I've done this before. I'm not the fastest guy.
Isn't that what he said for the last one? Wasn't there some comment that he made when he won his last championship that something about, he did it and the other guy didn't? I don't remember who it was.
Oh yeah. There was he
was like, well, I was there and he wasn't.
Yeah.
Or something.
He's very good at his, I mean, we got the harder than my arms were harder than morning wood. We got something about you, like he was the only rider on the parade lap that didn't have a jacket on, and he's like, sometimes you have to take it off in jacket, and like he's very witty, but we have a battle. I won't even say that Chase is out of it now, because apparently anything's possible.
Yeah.
But Chase finds himself 15 points back, which is pretty good. Eli has somehow clawed his way up to 4th after not, but he, in my opinion, 30 points out. It's out. I mean, the best he could do is hope to get to 3rd, get a podium position for the year. But really, if you think about it, I did not have Cooper Webb getting 4 wins this season.
No, not at all.
I did not have.
Nobody.
I just can't believe that Cooper Webb has 4 wins on the season. So sorry, our old man dog is demanding some attention. But Eli Tomax in 4th, Ken Roxon's in 5th, Jason Anderson in 6th, having a quiet average qualifying of 8.2, and his average finish is 5.7. Yeah, thanks. 6.5. It's just a quiet year. I don't know if that's where Cowie wants him, but to me, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty solid.
He gave up on me. I went to you.
Yeah, but it's really weird to me. The 2 guys leading, their average finish, 3.6.
Nice.
Is their average finish. But look at the difference in qualifying. Cooper Webb's qualifying 6.5, and Jett Lawrence is 3.9. Jett has 7 hole shots, and Cooper only has 2. But the craftiness, it just Jett has led 104 laps, and Cooper has led 35. That's it.
I guess it matters which ones you lead.
Eli, by the way, has led 0. Do you know how? Because they don't count the laps led in the Triple Crowns.
Really?
Yes. They don't know what to do with them, so
they just say forget it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we almost have this figured out.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
When we don't know what to do, we'll just say none.
Yep.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
So Eli led, I don't know how many laps he led at St. Louis, pretty much almost all of them.
Yeah.
Except the race he didn't win. And he has no laps led. Sad news, Aaron Plessinger out for the rest of the season. He was having a really good season, had a lull, and then kind of got his mojo back and took a bad fall, elbow injury, I think.
Yes.
But it's sad because I was kind of excited to see him in the natural outdoors as we kind of got ready.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know.
But he's supposed to be back for
Will he be
outdoors.
Back for outdoors? Okay.
I mean, that's what his post said.
Well, that'll be exciting to see.
He was hoping to. That was the plan.
So somehow, I don't know how, Christian Craig is still 20th and Jorge Prado is 19th. These mean a lot as we get to the SMX. So they're gonna disappear. Dean Wilson is out as well. So I don't know if maybe Justin Hill's like, dude, I gotta get up higher so I can maybe get enough points. Maybe he'll do a couple outdoors. But that SMX, man, that changed a whole bunch of opinions last year with prize money. And I just had the points earned. I was going to go through to see like guys who maybe Vince Freeze, is he going to have to come out and do some outdoors? Or do you know the team didn't even go, the MCR team, they didn't even go east. They didn't go that far. So you're curious, like, with Nashville, will they be in Nashville this weekend? And will he have enough points to get into that top 22? Colt Nichols, he's going to work his way up. Cade Clayson, 24th. Mitchell Oldenburg, Mitchell Harrison. Freddie Norn is injured. Ty Masterpool is 28th. So he's on that bubble.
Yeah.
And he's eyeing the outdoors. Like, just get me through these last 4 rounds of Supercross. And I promise you, I'm going to get in that SMX because these guys now see that. And guys like Jorge Prado, Dean Wilson's not going to do outdoors, pretty sure. So they're going to be falling back.
Right.
But it's just crazy looking at the points and seeing guys that have kind of popped in. Justin Starling he's earned 2 points all year. And he's 41st. Well, is he even contemplating, like, am I even going to do SMX? Like, do I need to go do outdoors? Or, are we're going to pack it in and make money some other way? So it's interesting. If you ever get the chance, you can go to AMA. It's antiquated as all get up, but it works.
Yeah.
For just sheer numbers. I know they make fun of them all the time. The AMA gets made fun of all the time. But it's really easy to get the data. And these are the sheets that you have access to. This week in Nashville, I won't say FOMO because I don't really want to be in like the epicenter.
I can't believe you just said FOMO in general. I don't know who you are.
But I would like to go to Nashville because I feel like the racing vibe, I feel like everybody's so excited to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
That the racing vibe is also going to be.
Yeah, it's kind of more upbeat, more intense.
Yeah, even talking with Rylan this week, like he's excited to go to Nashville. And
right.
And that made me think, are there some of these places that they're like, I don't really want to go. Like we have to go, but it kind of sucks. Like we haven't been to Philly before. Philly's next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend. Are people excited to go to Philly, or is it like, oh, dude, they're putting an East Coast racing? Like, why do we have to go to Philly? After we go to Nashville, like we're going to this cool town, and we're going to go to Philly. And I don't mean that against Philly. It's just Nashville is kind of come the East Coast Vegas.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed we're not going to be there for the environment at the track, but I have no desire to go downtown.
No. I'm not good with people. I'm not people-y.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the race. If there was, out of the last 4 races, Nashville, Philly, Denver, or Salt Lake, which one would you love to go to?
Nashville, Philly, Denver, Salt Lake.
I know the one I'd want to go to.
Probably Denver.
Denver? Yeah. I wouldn't go to Salt Lake.
Why?
I have heard the town is absolutely beautiful. And the area, the mountains, we've been to Denver.
I've been to Salt Lake.
I've never been to Salt Lake. Oh. Well, we can take 2 different trips.
Oh, that'll be great. Then we can each report. Yeah, that'll be fun.
But no, I've heard Salt Lake is absolutely just beautiful. The area, not much of a going out town, which would fit
that doesn't
really perfect for you and I. So, yeah.
But I actually wouldn't mind going to Philly.
No, I'm with you.
Just because it's somewhere different.
I've been to Philadelphia when I was a tennis player. I've been to Philly, and it's a Northeast town. Like it is like the vibe. And by the way, their Philly cheesesteaks are actually really good. If you like the squeezy cheese that they put on it. But it's good.
I just can't talk about it that way though.
It's good. It's good. And it's a historic town.
Yeah.
I think that was the lead mechanic for HBI. He kind of does a little like adventure of what he does, and he toured some of the old like sites. And when they were in Boston, his flight was out of Boston, and he had some time, so he went back and he was going through cemeteries. This tombstone's 1676, and
that's so cool.
Like it was, and he like that's pretty neat, and that's what you and I have enjoyed is like touring the downtown. We're not city people, but touring the downtown areas of
I appreciate them.
Yeah, and seeing what makes those cities, and for the racers, I know that they're there, to race. But man, you have this opportunity to kind of see stuff and pick one thing. Just pick one thing and go see that one thing. I know we were talking with the kid from Epperson, mm-hmm. and they were going to do a tour of they were doing the arch.
The arch, yeah.
And it's like, cool, like that's awesome. You got a chance, go do that. And I think as people who get the opportunity to go to these cities, pick one thing and just go check it out and see what the city's like. You can still do it early and be done, get your rest and go, do your thing, but test it out. And I know Derek and his family, they're going to enjoy Nashville this weekend. We probably won't podcast till Tuesday because they're actually going to make it a family weekend and stay up there and come home they're going to stay up there through Monday. So I just want to thank you for filling in.
Of course.
It's always nice to get the boss's perspective on things. She watches every race. She's been to the races. We were at an FTR race this weekend, watching those guys plod through the sand. She doesn't understand why we do it because why would you
good money to do this?
Pay money, and these privateers, they pay money to do it. But thank you for being my partner. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and go over it and cover the races. I promise I won't make you do it very often.
Thank you.
She likes being behind the camera more than being in front of it, but you did an outstanding job.
Thank you.
And this was episode 51 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. She is Michelle. I am Trey. Together we are Michelle and Trey Real Estate, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.